to the Costly Distinct Podcast. It's your boy Black Adam. I'm glad you guys tuned back into the show, man. You know, we have a great show for you guys today, but before we get started, I'd like to give a big shout out to my sponsors, 605 Adult Beverages, Call Audio, and my man Chuck Star. Thank you guys for being sponsors to the show, man. You guys make this show go. Not just you guys, but the guys that tune in, man. You guys are the oil that makes the engine run. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for telling someone that didn't know about us. Now they know about us, especially with this power guest that we have on today. This is going to be beneficial, especially in today's time where we talk about the market. We talk about today's GDP. You know, on the show, we always talk about the increase, the gap, wealth gap that we have in our country, the black dollar. You know, it's some terms that you guys probably heard of with our current president, the black jobs. So we talk about a lot of that on this show, but the guest that I have on today, I want to do a proper introduction because, you know, sometimes I leave off some things for some guests that I have on, but today I want to do a proper introduction. Now, let me know if I'm leaving something off, all right?
Okay.
All right, let's see. So I'm not going to say your name until the end, all right? So this brother is an international speaker. He's an author, entrepreneur, recognized for building numerous highly profitable companies and business programs with over 30 years of experience in the banking industry. And I had to have this brother on. Everybody, welcome to the show, Mr. Derek Whitehead. Hey.
Thank you, brother.
How you doing, man?
Oh, God got me up. I can't complain.
Yeah, that's good, man. So look, Mr. Whitehead, so you prefer Derek, Mr. Whitehead, DW, what?
Derek's good.
Derek, okay, I got you. So I want to ask you, where are you from, first and foremost?
Well, I was born in Jersey City.
Okay.
And then I went down to South Carolina, raised on a farm from 5 to 12.
Okay.
100 acres. My mother had an accident, and I stayed down there until 12, and then I went back up to New York and raised up in Brooklyn.
Okay. Shout out to Brooklyn. Shout out to upstate, even though we're in the South. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? I have a lot of buddies that I went to college with that's from Jersey and then Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Brooklyn, Harlem, the Bronx. So, yeah, you know, it was all, back then it was a beef back then with the hip hop thing, you know.
Right. That's
East
right.
Coast versus West Coast versus the South.
That's right.
But you had you had a stint down in South Carolina, so.
Yeah, a country boy, man. I was raised up on a farm, and chickens and outhouse. I just look like this. I'm an old dude.
Yeah, okay, I got you. Because today's time, you say outhouse, it'd be like, what is that? What is an outhouse? So I want to get started because I know you've been busy and you're here in Houston. First of all, welcome to the show. Welcome to Houston.
Thank you.
Yeah. I want to ask you this. In today, is the model of making money different in today's time?
Not actually. The 85%, they still work, and then they produce for the 15%, and the 5% know what's going on. So it's the same thing.
Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I heard Malcolm X say that a long time ago. It said the media's ran by 85%, no, about 15%. And the poor righteous teachers. That's in New York. That's a New York teaching. Yeah. That 5% is the poor righteous teachers. Yeah.
Yeah, the poor righteous teachers. But you know, basically, that's been going on for since 1400s. I mean, you know, it's called when they first came here. They first came here talking about we came here for religious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they spoke Latin, and it's antem ploribus Sundays, boleg, bolesnari nosem, antrebutastari. But that's a lie. They came here for non-performance income. And so they came here and they said, you work, I don't work.
Correct.
Free land, free labor.
Yep.
And you work. I get the money and put you to work. And that's the same thing as today. They spoke Latin back in the day, 2,000 years ago. And that's the same thing they speak today.
Yeah.
Money's in Latin. E pluribus unum is on your dollar bill.
Yeah.
That means out of one comes many. And it's the same thing. You want $1 turned into many.
Right.
And back then they spoke Hebrew. And today they speak Yiddish and Hebrew. Same thing. They spoke a poor language called Aramaic. That's what Jesus spoke.
Right.
And he spoke many languages from what I heard. And today they speak a poor language called English. So the rich, they speak Latin. That's why if you go to court, and the judge sits on the bench. They say, here comes the judge. He said, you can all sit down. He sits down on the bench. Bench is in Latin is bank, banca. And so it's all in Latin. The judge says, I'm an expert witness in court, finance. So the judge will say, well, sir, who's representing you? That's what he said to somebody. Real story. The guy says, I'm representing myself, Your Honor.
Okay.
And the judge says, well, I think you may want to hire somebody that speaks Latin because you're not going to understand what's going on in here. He says, well, how do you know I don't speak Latin? Smart guy. He says, because you should have said, I am here pro per. That means self in Latin. Since you didn't, I think you don't speak Latin. So would you like to adjourn this and get a lawyer who went to school to learn Latin? He said, well, yes, sir, I'd like that. So that was education for me then.
Okay, you teaching me now.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, you teaching me now because that's I never heard of that before.
Well, that's the way it goes.
Because a lot of people think they could go to Chat GTP and GPT
Yeah.
and think they could just be their own attorney versus knowing the actual science behind it.
You'd have to first have something that you can put in, understand the concept in order to get something out. That's gravy. If you don't know what a Ferrari is, you can't put Ferrari in ChatGPT. So you first have to understand the construct, then you can rise from that.
Yeah.
So that's the way I look at money. People, we need to learn about money if we want money.
So I want to ask you this: assets versus liability. Is when you say money, is the actual note, is that profitable? Is that worth anything? Or is it an asset like something like land or something like a real estate, brick and mortar, or something that you own that's imminent? Which one is
intrinsic
wealth?
value?
Yes.
Yeah, that's I'm somewhat of an economist, so you said something very powerful. You went straight to the top.
Yeah.
And I thought you would build to this, but you went straight to the top. Everything is a note. The note is everything. They had a guy named Einstein, right? And they said, what is the greatest thing? He's the numbers man. They said, what is the greatest thing you've ever encountered in money, in numbers? He said, they said, theory of relativity, 1? He said, no. He said, number 2, theory of relativity 2. He said, no. He said, by far, the greatest thing I've ever encountered is compound interest.
Yes. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Compound interest.
Yeah.
Why do I say that? Because the note is a promise to pay. So if you have, and most of the time, there's some type of interest involved. So there's a house note, there's a car note, there's a credit card. Anytime you owe somebody, that's a note. So if they give you a credit card, you say you use the money, that's a promise to pay with some type of interest. Sometimes they have no interest, but
most of the time it is.
The note is everything. You have a jet note, a car note, everything's a note. Even the money you use says Federal Reserve note.
Yes. So
the question you ask is how important is the note? It is almost everything.
So because I was looking at it from the actual paper because it says Federal Reserve note on it. A lot of people don't even know that. I hope you guys pull out a dollar right now and look at your dollar. It has it at the very top. It says Federal Reserve note. So because I was listening to someone, I forget who, it was a podcast, and a guy was saying, this is just a note. It's not worth anything. It's a paper. Well, it's saying the paper wasn't.
The paper's not worth anything, but it's the value of the note. None of it has, since 1970s, Nixon took us off the gold standard. Right. So nothing, money's backed by nothing. It has no intrinsic value. Gold and silver has intrinsic value.
Yes.
Commodities have intrinsic value. But the note has enormous value as far as leveraging.
Yes.
Or as far as turning the note into what they call assets. And that's something we can talk about. I think is very important.
Yeah, I want to go into that because you said leverage. Leverage is a big term. especially in the business world.
That's right.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because you're the expert here. I'm not. I'm just here witnessing, and I'm just here jotting this down mentally.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of leverage, when I look at leverage as saying that I have something that I can use for something else that I need.
Yeah, that's a negotiable instrument.
Correct.
It's a negotiable instrument. But you can leverage can also make something larger. Like for instance, if you have a dollar and you put a bond on it,
Okay.
that bond can help leverage that dollar and make it back it look like it's $5.
Right, because you purchased the bond for that amount, say $5.
Yeah, and the bond is kind of what we're talking about. But if we stay on the note,
Mm-hmm.
because a bond has to mature,
Okay. Over
right?
time.
So people think because they get a bond that it's going to automatically be, like an insurance policy, they think it's automatically going to have some value. But there's a threshold. So from 1 to 10, you have somewhere in the middle where you cross that threshold of it being worth something. If you're 1 to 5, it's really not worth very much.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Right. So the note is very important. Now you have non-performing notes,
Mm-hmm.
which a lot of people understand. I've managed over 20.2 billion under management of non-performing notes.
So a non-performing note is something that is not being leveraged. It's something that's not being utilized to gain gaining compound interest. It's just
No, non-performing
okay.
means if the bank gives you $1,000,
Okay.
they now, as soon as you sign that paperwork, they now have on their books 9 times that amount because you signed that paperwork. That's what banking is. It's
Wow.
fractionalized banking. They call
Got
it.
you. Okay.
Okay. So you go in and actually they have raised it. It is now 10 times.
Per
They imagine you lending me $1, and as soon as I sign the paperwork saying I owe you, you now have 10 times that on your books. You can lend out 9 to 9 other people $1 that you really don't have.
So why? I want to ask this: why? I know it's legal through the FDIC, but why can't a person be their personal bank by that same method?
People are personal bankers, but you can't use that term. I wouldn't use the term banking, but there's hard money.
Okay.
You can lend money or hard money, and if you really wanted to, you could be a virtual bank.
Okay.
Without all the charters and all that stuff, you can just say, hey, like we were with Caliland, with our own bank years ago, and they're a mortgage bank. There's all kind of banks.
Mm-hmm.
So you can say, hey, I want to be an extension of you, and I want to be a bank.
Okay.
And you fill out the paperwork, and you do the things that they want, and you're a bank. But what kind of bank?
Right.
Right. So are you a lender, are you a credit bank, are you a mortgage bank? And that's usually borrowing on a forward.
Okay.
So borrowing on a forward means most banks, they'll go in, borrow from a wholesale bank, a bigger bank,
Yep.
and then they'll use $50 billion in mortgages, and that when they finish, they'll sell those notes,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll say, this is $500,000 for that. We gave this guy this house. Now this guy is going to pay us in 30 years
Mm-hmm.
on a decent interest rate. He's going to pay us $2 million in 30 years, but we lent him 500.
Mm-hmm.
So now, do you want to buy a piece of this? Just give me. I'll sell the note to you. You can hold it, and you will make 1.8 million. Just give me 200,000.
Okay.
Okay, so that's how a lot of banks operate.
So they don't want the whole pot; they just want a piece of it.
Well, that's because they have liquidity instead of holding the note.
Got you. Right. They don't have the responsibility of that whole thing.
Exactly. So now what happens is you can do the same thing. So at that level, you go in, you say, you can actually buy non-performing notes if the bank has too many notes that aren't performing. And what that means is they're not paying.
Correct.
There's performing and non-performing. If they're not paying, then the Fed that is in charge of all the money, they say you cannot get 9 or 10 times that amount on your books if you have too many toxic loans.
Right.
So
right.
now the bank says that's not going to work because we're in this to be 9 times bigger.
Correct.
And then when they close the bank, they take all that leveraged money and they go and they go and trade that on the market in Hong Kong, different places,
Right.
because their market is open. So they make huge, and they trade in trillions at night on platforms, MTNs, market traded notes. Okay, so if you go in and you say, I would like to buy, so they got to get rid of those non-performing notes.
Correct.
So they say they're not paying, get rid of them, and they say we'll sell, let's say, credit card debt.
Yeah.
We'll sell that debt for 3 cents on the dollar. They will. So imagine you going in and buying $1 million worth of debt, credit card debt, at 3 cents on the dollar. That's about $300. So at $300, you have $1 million worth of notes or debt, non-performing notes. Now, what do you do with that? It's worthless, 3 cents on the dollar. Well, I want to show you how to make a dollar, not a dollar at a 15 cent, but a dollar at a 3 cent. This is how we do it. So we go in, we say we have $300 worth of notes. We paid $300 for it. It's worth $1 million. Let's say 10 people owe you $100,000 for a credit card.
Okay. The debt.
That's debt. That
Debt.
adds up to $1 million. 10 at $100,000 is $100 million. You pay $300 for it, but it's non-performing.
Correct.
Now you own it. So you get a call center or you call yourself and you say, listen, I own your debt. I own it right out. Now, I've checked with LexisNexis. I know you have a job. I know everything about you since you were 16. I know you have a house and everything else. I can take you to court and I will win and leverage and take your money. Or don't hang up, don't get nervous. I'm here to help.
Right.
I'm willing to erase everything negative on your credit that has ever gone on there because you're missing these payments.
Wow.
And they say, really? Yes. I own your debt. I can do that. I own it. And so, you know what else I'm going to do? What? I'm going to take that $100,000 you owe me.
Cut it in half.
See there?
Yeah.
And I'm going to cut it in half. Now you owe me you owe me not $150,000. You know what else I'm going to do? You were paying me $7,000 a month, right?
2,000.
Yes. It could be depending on the interest rate.
Right.
If they're not paying, it's usually because they got through somehow and they couldn't afford it anyway. But okay, let's say you were paying $5,000, $4,000. Well, guess what? Can you pay $1,000 a month? Sure.
Right.
You're going to do all that? I'm going to do all that under one condition. I need you to make sure you pay on this debt 6 months or 8 months straight without a missed payment. Can you do that? Yes. I'm going to send you over the paperwork. You sign it, and we'll start. Don't miss a payment now. The deal's off. If some banks are 6 months, some banks are 8 months.
Okay.
If they pay 6 or 8 months straight without missing a payment, that debt now becomes performing.
Okay.
Now it's performing. Now, if you do that with all 10 people, you have performing debt right now that is worth not $1 million, but $500,000.
Right.
How much you pay? You pay $300 for that debt.
Correct.
So now, generally, you can borrow 75% of whatever the value of what you have, right? So you have that'd be about $350,000.
Okay.
Okay, for $500,000, you can borrow about $350,000. You just paid $300 and borrowed because of that $350,000. So you take out $50,000 to service the loan, so you don't have to worry. That's the trick to all of this. And now you have $300,000, not 300, $300,000 to go buy more debt.
Yeah.
That's why debt collectors become multimillionaires so fast.
So is that? Well, I know it's I know that's private business, but can Joe Blow off the street create his own debt collection company? Or is it parameters that they,
You don't need to be a debt collection company to do this. You just the scenario I just gave.
Mhm.
You can buy debt from a debt broker.
okay,
Okay, just look that up online. If you don't understand the construct, you can't go look for it.
correct,
That's like put chat GPT that you're talking about,
correct.
right? So you wouldn't know to look for it if you didn't understand the construct. Hey, that's a Ferrari. What's a Ferrari? That red car right there in front of you looking at. I didn't know that. And now you see them everywhere.
Yeah.
So now you can go put in chat GPT, what is a Ferrari?
Well, you know what? That's important. Honestly, you just, because I know people that's gonna be watching this, they Googling debt collector right now, and they're gonna try to start their own business, right?
That's why I said it.
All right, free game. So now they have the business going, and what I found out, especially since the pandemic, this is a fact. They said out of, I believe it was 2 million businesses that was started in the pandemic. Only they say out of, I think 85% of them failed because most of them was faulted. Most of them didn't really know what they was doing. The ones that lasted was like I think 5% that lasted, right? So now that's saying I was looking at that and I'm like, either people don't really know how to construct a business, how to make a business go, or they just don't know the structure on what business is.
That's true. Most people don't. Most people, they go by, what they're taught on the internet or some friend told them what to do or, there's some fly-by-night information.
Yeah.
But I think the scenario I gave you is first thing you need to do is have a business. You're not in business unless you have a business. And you can do that. Nobody's really going to deal with you unless you have a business structure.
Yes.
Because the 85% are the working people and the corporations are the 15%. So you need to go in and make sure you structure your company right so people wouldn't find you risky.
Yes.
So that's a great question. A lot of times people go and get their LLC.
Shout out to LLCs. Don't mess with them because they got an LLC now.
You got your LLC. So most people are taught that, but we have to know that we are capitalists, right? So we're looking for capital. It's very important to know what you want. So if you go in and you look at the people that run this country, like the president, he lives in the Capitol, right? You look at the senators in Congress, they work on Capitol Hill,
right?
Because they're capitalists. Because the United States is not the United States in North America, but the United States of America is Washington, D.C.,
Yes.
and it is a corporation.
Absolutely.
Out of Delaware. And so just like they have their own corporation, we need our own corporation. So just like the president says, he says, you bombed this place and you're going to jail. The president said, I didn't do that. United States of America did that. I didn't do that. So that's the same thing you need to have, or not you, but plural.
Yes.
Okay? So if you have a business, we need to understand what type of business. Because if we rub a genie in a bottle and the genie comes out laughing, what do you want? You got one wish. And you says, well, I want, are you real? Of course I'm real. I got things to do. What do you want? So he says, I want money. And the genie said, okay, you got it. And he goes back in laughing.
Right.
Now you get home. And you go and run home. And he says, the money's home on your table. You run home and you got $2.95 on the table.
Did you say you wanted money? You
Say
didn't say how
what?
much. Right.
You take the genie and say, you stupid genie, this is $2.95. He said, I was laughing. He said, because you said you want money. You say how much you wanted.
That's right.
Okay. So now his son comes and says, what's this, Dad? He says, a genie in a bottle says on it. He says, don't touch that stupid genie. He's a trickster. He says, I'm going to rub it. I know how to fix him.
Mm-hmm.
So he thinks he's smarter. He says, Genie comes out laughing. Yeah, well, what do you want? He says, I want money. He says, but wait a minute. He says, I want $5 billion.
Mm-hmm.
And the genie says, okay, you got it. So the guy's sitting around, he's waiting. He's 98 years old.
Wow.
And now finally he goes to the bank and he comes back to home and he's crying. Honey, she says, what's the matter, baby? He says, you know I'm not a crying man, but I'm just so hurt. She says, what's wrong, baby? He says, I got $5 billion in the bank. He said, but I'm too damn old to use this money.
Right.
So he goes back to the bottle and says, Jenny, you tricked me. He says, you didn't tell me when you wanted the money. The grandkid comes in, I'm going to rub this bottle. He says, don't rub that bottle. He's a trickster. Then he comes out laughing. He says, what do you want? I fooled your daddy. I fooled your granddaddy. I'm going to fool you too. What you want?
Mm-hmm.
He says, first thing I want is I want 3 more wishes.
Easy, right? That's the first thing I thought about.
The genie said, what? He said, that's right. That's my wish. He said, and on my first wish, I want $10 billion. I want it now. I want it in the bank, and I want it in bonds, U.S. bonds, and I want it now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll take my other 2 wishes later. Genie said, oh, goes back in the bottle. So the point to this is you have to know, people go and they say, I want money.
Yeah.
And they go get whatever is given to them because they're happy just to get anything.
Right.
But the trick is to know how much money you want. So you should always know, I want this amount.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do this with it. And I want it in this time. So fill out a business summary, not a business plan, but a business summary that makes you fill out. You can download that on the internet. We charge $7,500 to do it, but we're on this show. I can give it for free.
Okay.
So you go out, you download your business summary, and you say, it will make you say, this is where your business is, this is who you are, this is how many employees you have. So the trick is to look down like the eagle.
Yeah.
The eagle can see everything.
Yes.
He says, I'll get that rabbit now, and I'll get that turtle later.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I see it all. Instead of, most people look like the rabbit going upstairs. He can only see the next step.
Right.
So my thing is in business there's rules. If you go by the rules, 99% of the time you'll win.
Yeah.
If you don't follow the rules, if somebody's lucky to teach you, 99% of the time you will lose.
Yeah.
If you don't read the rule book and you go and keep going through that red light, because you didn't learn the rules, you're supposed to stop at the red light.
Right. Absolutely.
So eventually, your car's going to wind up in the junkyard. You may get through a little bit. So if you go playing tennis on a football field, they say one love in tennis. But in football, you're going to get hurt.
Absolutely.
Because you didn't learn the rules.
Absolutely.
So there's rules to this, to money. First rule, other people's money, other people's ideas, and other people's efforts, not your money.
Okay.
Okay? And the next thing is to know the rules of how to get the money, build your company, and don't guess and wish. And the next thing is do something with the money.
Okay.
So you fill out your summary, and you should already say, I am already there, right? I'm going to buy 250 units
Okay.
of affordable housing. It's a good thing now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to buy that, and I need this amount. They say I need $200 million,
Okay.
right? Don't be afraid of the numbers, because the bank is not. It's just where you put the decimal.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the money's not real, so why would you be afraid of it? This guy, Floyd Mayweather, he fought for 40 minutes for $750 million.
Yeah.
This guy, Dr. Dre, a rapper, now he's a great businessman now. He sold earphones for $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
So why are we acting like we in 1975, like Muhammad Ali was $5 million when it was a big deal? That's over.
Yeah.
So we got people on the internet going in saying, "I'll get you $200,000." That's not even a watch.
At all. Right.
Okay, that's not even. We own a diamond store in San Diego, Temecula Gold and Jewelry, and that's not even a ring.
Yeah.
To some people. And so we got to know to set our sights higher. So my thing is to know what you want and say, I'm going to get 250 million. Build your company to what you want.
Yeah.
Don't just accept whatever they give you. If you say, this is what I want, if you say, I'm going to the store and get some milk, I'm a spiritual guy.
Yeah.
The Lord said, be, and it was. You're a little God.
Absolutely.
So you say, I'm going to get some milk. So you manifest it, get in your car, and you go to the store and go get some milk.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
I have so many like parables that's in my head that I learned over the years.
Yes.
Especially the one you just spoke about, perspective.
Yeah.
I was having this conversation with my family this weekend.
Wow.
And it's kind of similar to the story you just alluded to. I said, doesn't mean you can't see. It's from your viewpoint. I said a turtle could see just as well as I use a crow.
That's right.
A crow could see. I said, but the viewpoint is different, and it's all about perspective. I said, if you ask a crow, what did he see? He or she's gonna tell you everything they saw, and the turtle's only gonna see tell you what he saw.
From ground.
Right? And I said, it's all about perspective. I said, you look at that just in life.
That's right.
I said, I said so many things, but I said, when you travel or when you experience certain things, it expands your mind. It expands your vision. It expands your perspective.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So what you're speaking of, like I said that all the time. My name was I Am for a long time. I am.
Okay.
I am, right?
Uh-huh.
So in that, it's deep within itself, right? If you're a Bible reader, and the first thing that the disciples asked Jesus, he said, "I am that I am," which is a heavy term in itself. It's like that's infinite.
Mm-hmm.
I am that I am, right? So I used to call myself I am just like a nickname, and nobody could understand it,
Right.
right? So it's to what you just said about be,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'm a little God of that.
That's right.
So if God can do it, why can't I do it?
That's right.
Right?
That's
But
right. That's right.
I want to stay on that for a little bit, because I spoke about something earlier about the economic gap.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the economic gap in terms of, I believe the GDP was $96 trillion in 2025. Out of that $96 trillion, it said that people of color, not black, but people of color, only possess 0.08% of that, of that $96 trillion. So that gap is
Huge.
it's ridiculous.
Huge.
Right? So to your point about why are you scared to ask for $100 million? Right? Why do you think that we are afraid to ask for $100 million?
Lack of knowledge.
Okay.
Lack of knowledge. If you have a real boxer, muscles don't bother him because he knows what he's doing. See, a real football player, huge doesn't bother him. If you have knowledge, knowledge removes fear. So if you got a guy that's huge, at 6'9", and 500 pounds, Andre the Giant,
Yeah.
you pretty much say, well, I'm gonna let him chase me for about 20 minutes.
He
right?
winded, huh?
Yeah, and you're gonna say, oh, so you tired? Shouldn't have never got tired. See, so knowledge removes fear. Okay, and it's the lack of financial knowledge that people are afraid of. Some people they just go to school forever. You see some of those people, they just, I got 5 PhDs, I'm going for the next one.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay, well, when are you going to start practicing?
That is true.
Right?
Yeah.
Because some people feel more comfortable in knowing rather than doing, because as long as you can say, I know it, you don't lose. But when you go out there and you step in that water, it's like, well, I don't know if I'm going to swim, I'm going to make it.
That's right.
So You have to go in and learn the craft of money. Don't be afraid and apply it. And there's what you call this. Uh, there's something called discernment.
Discernment, yeah.
They call it discernment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you go in and you make sure that you understand, and you have this thing called discernment. Use it. Don't just listen to what people say. Do your due diligence, and then sit down and contemplate. Some people call it prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Some people call it meditation.
Yeah.
Some people call it contemplation.
Yeah.
So I like to sit down and pray and let me contemplate. And then things begin to open up for me.
Yeah.
I say, well, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't make sense. So I don't advise, I'm not advising anybody, but I wouldn't advise anyone to just, that sounds great. Let me go jump in the water. Well, first check the water out. It may be something in there that's
Especially
piranhas.
Especially nowadays, you know, you have a lot of stuff that's on the internet.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
And that's just from people. Then we have AI stuff that's on the internet that's sometimes it's not even real, it's artificial.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people want that get rich quick. You know, that scheme is like, I'm not going to do my due diligence. It sounds good. I can make some quick money.
Yeah.
You know, but a lot of people, man, I see it, man. A lot of people just jump into like lanes. They have no idea how to. They might know bits and pieces of the information, and they just jump into it.
Yeah. And that's the problem I see on the internet. That's why I started teaching this for free.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't, like I'm an old dude. I've been around. I just look like this. Some people say, well, you look old. Don't pat yourself on the back. But, I remember they didn't have the internet. So I actually had to go and read this stuff and go, go through the hoops, jump through the hoops.
Yeah.
So I would say that lack of knowledge, back to that point, if you learn what everybody else has done, don't try to reinvent the wheel.
Correct.
Okay? And people have been getting money for centuries. So if you want to be a basketball player,
Mm-hmm.
I would copy, Jordan. I would copy Will Chamberlain.
Yeah.
That crossover. And Iverson, and I would put that together, and then implement my natural ability.
Yeah.
But don't reinvent the wheel. You can start reinventing things once you have money.
Right.
Yeah. But go in and look and see what other people have done, and what people are doing is simple. They're building a corporation.
Mm-hmm.
They're putting the proper data points in it.
Okay.
To make it's a person. A corp is a person. Corpse, body, dead thing. You taste, touch, feel, hear, and smell, and smell for it. It's unconscious, so you are just an officer. You don't own it.
Okay.
So the first thing is to realize you have to build yourself a person.
Okay.
And everything it has, you have to have. Everything you have, it has to have. You have to have good credit. It has to have good credit. It works hand in hand when you're first starting out.
Okay.
So the first thing is not your LLC, because that's limited,
Yes.
right? It's exactly, people say, my mother told me one time, she says, I came home and said, she said, what's wrong with you? I said, that boy hit me in the head with that ball.
Mm-hmm.
She said, how'd that happen? I said, he was laughing, and he said, I'm going to hit you in the head with this ball. And I was laughing with him, and he hit me in the head with that ball. She said,
He told you, right?
boy told you to hit you in the head with the ball.
Right.
And I said, he sure did. So it says LLC. Listen to what it says. It's limited.
Yeah.
It's limited. So no bank is going to say, oh, I love to give you some money. You're limited with liability. I love it. No, that's for risky things.
Yeah.
So know what these entities or these business platforms are, what they're meant for.
Okay.
Now, the LLC is meant for risky things, like truckers, and that's dangerous, or like real estate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you transfer real estate. Sometimes it's they have seasoning. You know, we do real estate too, and you want to get by seasoning instead of taking your name off and putting your name back on all that capital gains tax.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you're going in real estate. And by the way, people use hard money. Most people don't realize the hard money comes from they get the hard money and then lend it to you. Why don't you go to the bank and do the same thing?
Yeah.
It's just that you don't know how to go to the bank and get real estate because banks don't like real estate. That's why people use hard money. But lo and behold, banks will lend you money if you have your company set up and you have 6 final HUDs.
Okay.
So what's a final HUD? That means when the transaction happens, everything that happened in that transaction is called the final HUD. And if they see that you or your company's involved in 6 transactions, doing business, not play,
Yeah.
then they'll consider giving you the money.
Okay.
So that's that. So the LLC is usually for risky things. Doctors, you operate on somebody, say they're going to sue you. You messed up. Says, well, I'm limited and I'm licensed and I'm bonded. I have no liability. I'm a limited liability company.
Mm-hmm.
Get nothing from me. Or I'm a limited liability partnership, an LLP. Or construction. That fell on my head when I was walking by. I'm going to sue you. Well, you're not getting nothing from me because I'm an LLC. So if I went to eat at somebody's restaurant and they said, it's Mrs. Johnson's Home Food Cooking LLC. This really happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Mama's Home Food Cooking. My friend took me. I said, man, I'm not going in there. I'm not eating in there. He said, why not, man? They got some good food. I said, look at this. It says Mama's Soul Food Cooking LLC. I said, what's in there? Arsenic? Why she LLC? So I went in there, ate anyway, and I said, ma'am, she's an older lady. Yeah, New Orleans, they was cooking gumbo and
Etouffee, everything.
etouffee, crawfish pie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I miss that food. But she said, I said, ma'am, the food was delicious. She said, thank you, baby. You know how they talk about it. Thank you, baby. I said, yes, ma'am. I said, so I need to tell you something, though. I said, so you have an LLC. I said, and that means liability, and you're limited, right? So it makes people think that really know this stuff, that you're worried about somebody choking or something. She says, so after I talked about how, she said, I didn't know that. She was 2.5 old lady. I didn't know that. I said, yes, ma'am. I said, so I would get myself a different, I would get a corporation.
Yeah. SCorp or CCorp, yeah.
So right. So she says, well, thank you, baby. You don't have to pay for the food. I said, thank you, ma'am. Right? She said, yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know that.
Yeah.
So I said, yes, ma'am. So you have to know what you're doing when you're doing business.
Mm-hmm.
So an LLC is not for getting money. An SCorp, hey, man, I hit the lottery. I want to invest in your company. Well, let's go. You make money, I make money. I lose money, you lose money. He says, well, wait a minute. I don't want to be a part of your company. Now, I just want to invest. I don't want to be silent. I don't want none of that capital, stuff.
Yeah.
So he says, well, that's just what I have. I have an S corporation. That's for investors. That's what I have.
Mm-hmm.
So you're in luck. Well, that's the S corporation. So if you don't have investors, why do you have an S corp? Well, most people that's a pass through.
Yeah.
Okay, so the LLC is, you don't pay. It's a limited liability company.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a corp.
Yeah.
So they have managers, and it's distribute the money amongst the managers, right? And S corp is a pass through also. So you don't pay double taxation.
Correct.
You pay taxation on just one tax,
Mm-hmm.
not on the company's earnings and your earnings.
Right.
Right. So that's why a lot of people, the tax guy says, get an LLC, but he's not a banker, because the whole idea is to get money to do business, not to do business and work till your fingers to the bone
Yeah.
to get money.
Yeah.
And that's what everybody does. They teach online. You know, let me teach you how to do marketing. Let me teach you how to do, open a car dealership. We have two. We have Primo and Prime Auto in San Diego. We sell Jaguar, Mercedes, BMW, Bentley, last 27 years.
Okay.
And actually, the business is just an excuse to get the money. Really want to get in, you say, like Amazon. Amazon just means big.
Mm-hmm.
So you should put in your company what your manifestation is.
Got you.
That's why the dollar bill has all those symbols all over them, because they're putting in there, and the people that put those in there, they continue to live by the manifestation they put in the money.
Right. And that's masonry too, so but I didn't get into that. But
That's right. Well, this is economic
Right,
masonry.
right,
This
right.
is not masonry.
Right, right.
I know you guys tie your camel. You've been to the east and back, but what we're teaching is that our symbol has an E in it, not a G.
Mm-hmm.
So that's masonry. That's not SAM, science, astrology, and monotheism. This is economic builder.
Mm-hmm.
Mason means builder.
Right.
So we're economically building.
Yeah.
That's why I have an E in there, so people, they don't understand that.
Right.
Okay.
But you're giving a lot of game and free game. You're giving a lot of free game,
Of course.
and I know we have to wrap it up, but I want to get into the event. The reason why you're in Houston, Texas, because you're going to be back in Houston, or I'll be back somewhere where you are. We could get more information.
That's right.
You already gave enough already. You already gave $1 million plus one worth the game already. So if they can't get it from there, I can't help it, because I want to get into the trust so we can protect it. But
Yes. Well, that's the 7 structure. So basically, people want to go in and get your C corporation, like a 7. People never teach you how to protect your money. Like Mike Tyson, for instance. That man had $400 million 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And he lost it because he didn't know what to do with it. He didn't know how to protect it. And people were passed away that were around him that were helping him. Well, fortunately, now he has a wonderful wife, and he's bounced back. Very lucky man, but that's one in a few.
Yes.
That's one in a few.
Yeah.
And so we need to learn, in my opinion, the 7 structure, which is your basic structure. CCorp, Holding Corp at the top of it is your protection. CCorp, then you write a letter called a resolution letter. See, everything you do with a company or corporation, you have to ask it. It's a person.
Yeah.
You can't open a bank account in my name and not ask me.
Correct.
Because I'm a person, right? You cannot go and open. People say, I got credit cards, I got equipment, I have car, and they just went and said, who authorized that? Well, it's my corp. You don't own a corp. It's a person.
Yes.
You're just an officer.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to vote. So never have one person on your corp. Most people do. You should have at least 3.
3? Okay.
Or 5 or 7, so you can make a vote, and the majority says we're going to go in, vote, and that's called minutes. And you write a resolution letter, say we are here to vote on getting a credit card or opening a bank account in the best interest of the corporation. If the majority says yes, you do it. If the majority says no, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
That's why be very careful who you put on your corp, and don't make them permanent.
That's your corporate board.
That's your officers.
Okay.
Okay. So now you vote, and then you say we have determined that 3 out of 2 or 3 out of 3 says yes. So the yes have it. We will now open a bank account, and you have that notarized that you voted on it. Everybody is here. It's called a resolution letter. You can look that up. And so now you take it notarized, and now you put it in your book of minutes. Now you can open a bank account or get a credit card. So when you start getting big money, somebody's going to come visit you and ask you about, who authorized this?
Right.
And you're going to say, nobody. They're going to say, really? So they're going to say, nobody. We're having fun here, so.
Yeah.
So they're going to say, nobody authorized this. They're going to say, really? The violation. Then they're going to come back and say, you got, how many credit cards you have? 9. Who authorized the next one? Well, and the next one. And that's 9? Oh, really? You know how to make $10 million, but you didn't know that you need to ask the corp? Really?
Right.
See, this is it. That's the game.
Yeah.
So now you need to go in, C corporation, and you write a letter that says everything we own, resolution letter, belongs to the holding corp. And you have it notarized, and then you go in, and now you have what they call it's like a veil. It's called a corporate veil.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you take that from the C corp to the holding corp. Now that's why you have Bank of America Holdings and Chase Holdings,
Right.
because they know better. That's why they do better. So you have the holding corp, and you write a letter from them to saying that all the shareholders, right? Because if you don't issue yourself any shares and you got $10 million in business, something you go to your angels 150 years from now, your children or whoever you want to get is going to have a hard time getting that money.
Correct.
Because the corp owns it. You never issued shares to yourself.
Got you. Yeah.
So you write a letter from the holding corp saying that all the shareholders are going into a trust inside the United States or outside the jurisdiction. That's your protection.
Yes.
Now people say, well, Mr. Whitehead, I have a LLC. What the hell do I do with that? Well, you take that. The corporation has no specific name, ABC Inc., and you put the LLC or the C Corp or whatever you want underneath it as doing business as such and such LLC. And now, if the mama of the corporation is worth nothing, no shares worth nothing, it's just used for getting money. That's what it's used for.
Correct.
And now pushing the money where you want it to go, right? If you put that LLC that's worth $1 million underneath the mama is now worth $1 million because she owns that baby.
Correct.
So now you want to be worth $1 million or $2 million. It's not how much money you have, it's how much value you have. Oprah don't have $6-7 billion on her mattress.
Correct. It's value.
That's how much her company is
evaluated
worth. If you tell me I got $10 million, I say, so what? I'm picking my nails. Anybody need any money? Because you can spend $10 million on a yacht and be broke tomorrow.
Correct.
The bank knows it. I know it. You know it. But if you go in and say my company has $10 million worth of value, assets, you take the fake money and you buy real assets.
Or you can borrow against it. You can leverage it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So now your corp, they know your company now is worth 3, 6, or 9 times the value. Sole proprietor, you can sell it for 3 times. Corporation, sell it for 6 times. A fund or a publicly traded company, 9 times the value.
Yeah, and if you borrow against it, you can't tax debt. It's illegal to tax debt.
Exactly.
But that's a whole nother story.
Exactly.
So
I said, you know what you're talking about. See, I'm preaching some of this to the choir.
Find you outside economicmasonry.com. How can they find you on social media? On you have a website? I'm sorry, I saw the website, but Instagram.
Yeah. Just look up Derek Whitehead or Derek P. Whitehead. Now be careful because you have last we checked, we had about 500 people imitating me.
Oh wow!
And taking all my free content. Everything's free. All that stuff's free. But we do have a community where you can go in like $40 or something like that, $49, and we post. We're constantly posting new info. So you don't have to listen to me talk for 3 hours on the internet. I used to talk for 5 hours.
Oh, wow.
Much now. And question and answers. But you can go in there now and join our community, and we're constantly uploading. It's new, but if you go in now, you'll see after about 2 weeks or a month, you will see extreme amount of information.
Yeah.
And if you go in now, as the price goes up, because 6 months from now we're going to have people we pay to put more content and all that, so the price will go up.
Yeah.
But you'll be grandfathered in, and you'll say, "Well, I'm not paying $1,500. I got in. I'm grandfathered in." But we have, instead of people learning this whole thing, I can only get bits and pieces. Now they can go into the community because it's gotten so big. I can't teach everybody everything.
Right, right.
But they can go in that community and they can learn, pick down, pull down notes, real estate, flipping. We also have a free class. We have Luita Gonzalez. She's about this big, but she's a beast. She manages 10,000 commercial and single-family properties.
Wow.
10,000.
10,000, wow.
We have people in that class. It's free for a week. And we have people in that class that know nothing to people that are doing $500 million deals, and they're all teaching each other.
Wow. That's great, man. I love that. I love to see that, man. Make sure you guys go to the website. Make sure you guys, not just to go to the website and get this information. If you're in Houston or in the surrounding areas, make sure you guys go to the website. Again, this is Black Adam with Culturally Distinct Podcast. I'm glad you guys tuned in. Shout out to my sponsor, 605 Adult Beverages, Car Audio, Chuck Star. Make sure you guys log in. Make sure you guys tell a friend what we got going on over here. I want to see you guys. Remember, I got 10 free tickets, and they got giveaways over at the event. Make sure the name of the event is called Wealth Without Risk 2 Conference down at the Bayou Center here in Houston, Texas on the 27th.
EconomicMasonry.com.
EconomicMasonry.com. Thank you, Mr. Derek.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you coming on the show, brother.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
brother.
Thank you.
Yes,
guys,
sir.
look, we got to get out of here. And look, every week, I love you guys, and you can't do nothing about it. Peace out.